Okay, let's unpack this. We're focusing today on Borgarfjörður, which is a name Iceland apparently liked so much they used it twice, for two completely different regions.
Right. And they're separated by hundreds of kilometers, and they truly embody the duality of the entire island nation.
That contrast is the whole point, really.
Yeah.
It's what we pulled from the sources. It's a perfect study in Icelandic extremes. So on one hand, you've got the Western Borgarfjörður.
The one that's, integrated. It's tied into the national infrastructure. It's brimming with political and historical gravity.
And then on the other hand, there's the eastern one, Borgarfjörður Eastri. It's remote, mythological. It's all about rugged isolation.
Yeah, a bastion of nature preservation.
It's basically west versus wild.
Exactly. And even the name Borgarfjörður, which means fortress fjord, it changes its meaning depending on which coast you're on.
Okay, so tell us what the fortress means in the west.
Well, in the west, which is part of Westerland, the name is just so deeply rooted in human history. It's tied to this ancestral farm, Borg Amirum.
Ah, the famous seat of the Viking poet-warrior Egil Skallagrimsson.
The very same. His life is all laid out in the sagas. So here the fortress is symbolic. It's about political and military strength.
But the east couldn't be more different.
Not at all. Over in Austerland, the name refers to the landscape itself. The sources describe these just stunning castle-like rhyolite peaks that ring the fjord.
So it's not tied to a human story, but to the geology.
Precisely. We're going to use a socioeconomic analysis and some local employment data to really trace these massive differences.
Let's start where Iceland itself kind of started. The historical hub, the West. I mean, this area is practically a suburb of the capital.
Only about 70 kilometers from Reykjavik, yeah.
And it's completely integrated through that critical artery, the ring road, Route 1. It's the very definition of a strategic point.
It's so fascinating how the West blends that absolute utility with such a profound history. Its spiritual and historical heart is Reykjavik. This place was the center of the intellectual universe for one of Iceland's most monumental figures, Snorri Sturluson.
And when we talk about Snorri, we aren't just talking about a historical footnote. This 13th century man was a powerhouse.
Oh, absolutely. A powerful chieftain, a law speaker, and the scholar credited with crafting two of the most essential texts for understanding Nordic culture.
He wrote the Prose Edda,
which is our primary source for Norse mythology. It defines gods like Thor and Odin for us. And he also wrote the Heimskringla, which is this detailed chronicle of the Norwegian kings.
So his writing literally defined a cultural identity that still endures today.
It did. But the sources also make it really clear that his ambition was ultimately his undoing.
He got tangled up in the civil strife of the Sturlung era.
Deeply entangled. It led to his political assassination right there at Reykjavik in 1241, ordered by the King of Norway. This region is just the epicenter of Iceland's political gravity and drama.
And you can still feel that history physically.
You really can. Reykjavik is home to the ancient Snorlalag. It's this preserved geothermal pool that they believe Snorri himself used.
Wow.
It's just a powerful connection between the past, the sagas, and the region's defining natural resource, geothermal heat.
Okay, so let's move forward to today. The modern gateway to the west is Borgarnes. It's the main settlement population of about, 2,000 people?
Around that, yeah. And for decades, it was just a quiet, traditional town.
Until the 1980s.
Right. What really stood out in the sources was how infrastructure just fundamentally redefined this town. The Borgarfjordur Bridge was built.
And it funneled all that national ring road traffic right through Borgarnes.
It shifted its identity almost overnight. It went from a historical outpost to this modern logistical hub.
Their slogan says it all. All roads run through Borgarnes. It perfectly captures its new role.
But they still fully embrace their deep foundational history. Borgarnes has the Settlement Center, which has these incredible exhibitions on the settlement era and the Eagles saga.
And you can literally walk through that history at Skallagrimsgeirar. It's the public park that contains the burial mound of the saga hero, Skallagrimur Kveldolfsson.
Eagle's father.
Right. So history isn't just taught there. It's literally beneath your feet.
And if we connect that idea of water and utility, moving from Snorri's tiny personal pool to the modern scale, this is where it gets really interesting. The raw geothermal power that defines the West today.
The scale of this resource is just enormous. The sources mention Dýrdartingur. It's not just a local landmark.
No, it's the most powerful hot spring in all of Europe.
The raw data is just mind-boggling.
It is. It pumps a staggering 180 liters of near-boiling water. We're talking 97 degrees Celsius every single second. That isn't nature for tourists. That is nature as heavy industry.
And what struck me was the sheer ambition of it. This energy isn't just used locally.
Not at all. It's harnessed with these extensive pipeline systems that carry the hot water for miles to heat distant towns, like Akrines and, of course, Borgarnes.
So the West is providing heat and power far beyond its own borders.
Exactly. And because Iceland is so good at this, they transform that raw natural power into comfortable experiences.
The Krama geothermal spa.
Right. That boiling water eventually feeds the spa, where it's mixed with cold glacial water for the baths. It's the ultimate expression of the West, leveraging natural extremes for maximum human utility.
And this geothermal power is a byproduct of the volcanic activity that shaped the Holmendaron lava field.
And that lava field is responsible for some of the region's most famous natural sites.
You're talking about Hálmfossar, the lava falls.
Yes. What makes them so unique is that the water doesn't fall over a cliff. The rivulets just stream directly out of the porous lava rock itself.
It's like the lava field is weeping.
A perfect description. It pours in this wide sheet into the Svita River below.
And right next to it is Barnafoss, the Children's Falls. This site has a much darker human story attached to it.
It does. It's a series of powerful, churning rapids, and it's linked to this tragic folklore tale about two young boys who fell from a natural stone arch that used to span the river.
That dark historical layer is so typical of Iceland. Beautiful, powerful nature always comes with a sharp human story attached.
And if you go below the lava field, you find Viagelmir. It's the longest lava cave in Iceland, over 1,500 meters long.
And the sources say it was used as a hideout for bandits.
So even the subterranean geography of the West play a role in its saga history.
And then if we look up further into the highlands, the West touches the Langjökull Glacier, Iceland's second largest ice cap.
Which is where you find the Into the Glacier project.
A massive, man-made ice tunnel carved right into 1,000-year-old blue ice.
And the logistics of getting there just perfectly encapsulate the West. It's raw, ancient nature, accessed only through modern, heavy-duty engineering. Visitors are driven across the glacier in these huge, modified 8-wheel monster trucks.
It's technology conquering terrain for tourism.
And for utility.
Okay, let's pivot. Let's go all the way across the island, leaving the ring road and the monster trucks behind, and head to Borgarfjörður Eastery.
The other one.
The other one. If the West is defined by connectivity and leveraged history, the East is all about glorious, rugged isolation and pure, untouched nature.
The contrast is truly stark. Geographically, the East is over 700 kilometers from Reykjavik. It's a difficult journey. And its main settlement, Borgarfjörður, is tiny.
About 100 people, right?
Right around there, just 100 people.
And just getting to that village is an adventure. You have to navigate this steep, winding mountain road, Route 94.
The sources really highlight that this route can be treacherously steep. It's often just impassable in winter because of snow and ice.
Which is why the area can feel like a ghost town outside of that brief summer season.
But that isolation is exactly what preserves its unique charm and its natural habitats. The sources all emphasize that this region is the heart of slow, authentic travel.
And for wildlife lovers, the biggest draw is Hafnarholmi Islet. This spot is famous as one of the safest and easiest places in Iceland to see Atlantic puffins up close.
They estimate about 10,000 pairs nest there every year, from mid-April to mid-August.
And they've built viewing platforms, right, to protect the birds' burrows.
Exactly. Elevated wooden boardwalks, viewing platforms. It's a model for high-value, sustainable wildlife tourism. You can observe without disturbing the delicate ecosystem.
Beyond the bird life, the cultural heart of the East is anchored firmly in folklore. We're talking about elven culture.
Specifically, the Alfaborg, or Elf Rock. The myth around it is just central to Borgarfjörður's identity.
This is where the Queen of the Elves is supposed to live.
The Huldufolk, the hidden people, Where the West's history is rooted in documented chieftains and power struggles, the East's identity is rooted in the magic and mystery of nature itself.
And that focus on nature drives the tourism there. The region is famous for its hiking paths, the Vikneslo.
The trails of the inlets. There are over 24 well-marked trails. It's all about immersive physical engagement with the landscape, not just driving by on the ring road.
Which leads to the hike to Stora, the giant boulders.
A magical landscape, massive rocks, these vibrant turquoise pools, and it all sits right beneath the jagged Dyrfjöll Mountains.
It sounds breathtaking, but it demands respect. You really need to wait until late summer, July to September, when the trails are snow-free.
Which again just highlights the challenge of accessing this untouched beauty.
And then there's this surprise attraction that's only recently become famous, Studo Canyon.
Yeah, this magnificent canyon with its blue river cutting through these striking basalt columns. It was hidden for decades.
Why hidden?
A nearby hydroelectric project lowered the water level of the Eucla River, and in doing so it revealed this deep, columned gorge that had previously been submerged under fast-flowing, murky water.
Wow, an accidental tourist draw.
It speaks to the dynamic geology of the East.
So if the West is leveraging infrastructure and geothermal power, and the East is capitalizing on extreme isolation and myth, how does that show up in their economies?
Well, they truly reflect their environments. In the West, agriculture is still a vital, highly organized sector.
And it's supported academically, right, by the Agricultural University at Feneyri.
Exactly, which also houses the Agricultural Museum of Iceland. So it's actively promoting farming development and research.
And you can see that in the employment data. Nationally, farming is only about, 3.8 to 4% of the workforce?
Something like that. But in East Iceland, that figure is actually a bit higher, around 6.2%. So the East might be remote, but it's still fundamentally a farming region for economic survival.
Wait.
Actually, you know what? Let me correct that data point for clarity. I think I misspoke. That higher figure of 6.2% is often found in the West, where you have that intensive, specialized farming livestock, greenhouses.
Ah, okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah. The East, by contrast, relies more on these niche, sustainable enterprises.
So what are those sustainable niche enterprises in the East?
The sources highlight eider down harvesting. It's a perfect example of a high-value export that is tied directly to ecological preservation.
This is the down that's hand-collected from the nests of the protected eider duck.
Right. It's a symbol of ecological balance.
And to give you some context on the value, the sources say eider down can be worth up to 100,000 kroner per kilogram.
Which, for anyone not tracking Icelandic currency, is comparable in value to high-end silk or even rare metals. It's a testament to the East's ability to turn sustainable harvesting into significant revenue.
Meanwhile, the West leans into innovative food tourism, leveraging its agricultural base.
The Eftirlur farm is a great example. It's a family-run operation with a true farm-to-table experience. They produce beef and dairy right on site.
And they've gotten famous for things like their creative Sky Burger.
Right, using Iceland's beloved superfood dairy product in a totally modern way. It's that blend of tradition and culinary innovation that defines the West's approach.
So if we zoom out to the broader Icelandic economy, it's crucial to remember both these regions exist within an economy that has shifted massively in the last decade.
Oh, hugely. Tourism, which uses the landscapes and infrastructure of both regions, has become Iceland's largest export sector.
Yeah, in 2017, tourism hit 42% of exports, officially surpassing fisheries.
Which had been the nation's most important sector for centuries. So that tension between the historical economy and the modern visitor economy is playing out in both Borgarfjörður regions.
And tying this back to the geothermal power in the West, we can't forget Iceland's entire electricity grid is 100% renewable.
Right, geothermal and hydropower. And that massive power harnessed in the West is literally feeding the national utility grid. It underscores how this one region contributes directly to Iceland's impressive global energy claim.
So what does this all mean? We've traced this profound duality of the Borgarfjörður regions. They share a name but represent two fundamentally different ways of life in Iceland.
The West really stands for Iceland's deep historical gravity, its strategic infrastructure, its political legacy through figures like Snorri, and its geothermal industrial power. It's the accessible, integrated Iceland built for utility.
And the East embodies its rugged isolation, its complete commitment to nature preservation, its vibrant folklore anchored by the Elven Queen, and the appealing slowness of authentic travel.
It's the hidden, wild Iceland.
And for you, understanding this duality, this tension between high connectivity and deep remoteness, is absolutely essential to grasping the full Icelandic experience. You have to understand both sides of that coin.
The West conquered the distance to the capital and harnessed its heat for the grid. The East maintains its distance and harnesses its natural beauty for sustainable survival.
Which raises an important question for you to mull over. The remoteness of the East, while it's a challenge for infrastructure, it forces a different, slower model of travel and economic survival. How much of Iceland's global appeal today is due precisely to the parts of the country that infrastructure hasn't yet fully conquered?